Hey guys, we are the Odd Set. I'm Haikal.
Wagwan, Maddie.
Hey, I'm Haffiz.
Yo, yo, yo.
Welcome
So we're
to
back,
episode
huh?
episode 6, yeah? No Chris
Episode
Yeah,
six.
no Christina Jones up in here.
No. Today we have no guests.
No special guests up in this episode.
no
No,
Angmo
man.
included this round.
So
Sorry to disappoint anybody. There's no Angmo here.
what do you mean? I'm here.
Oh man. Um, let's start with Haffiz. Like, just came
Yo,
back, holiday, bro.
that's right.
Tell
every
us,
time
though. Where you
every
It
been?
was
time
good to be
we
back, man.
back in SG.
Yeah, I am back in SG. I'm back to work actually as well.
Every time we record a new episode, it seems like somebody is just back from a holiday,
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
right? How,
Let's see
how,
Yeah.
the next one.
how was Japan, man?
Great as always. Really enjoyed my time there with the kids. So a lot of walking as usual, but
Yeah.
weather was beautiful every day. Bar one day
Winter
lah.
lah,
One day
kan?
it was slightly drizzling on the second day, but
Hmm.
other than that, it was fine weather. Uh, Cold but not too cold because it's still like approaching winter, right? So it's still like pre-winter phase. So yeah, it was great to be back lah. The crowds, certain places, quite crowded. Holiday season, right? So yeah, good to be back. The
This
kids enjoyed themselves lah.
this the
That's good,
first
man.
time that you've been to Japan with both kids and without us, right?
Yeah, correct.
Or
Yeah, without
any other.
without
So
any without anyone else.
was there a difference? I mean, maybe the kids are already walking, so it must be easier, right? In that sense, for you to move luggages, for you to go up and
Yeah,
down.
definitely. But from the airport from Narita, I got the airport transfer lah. I mean, we had four luggages, but two young kids, so I cannot like make them push lah, right? So we paid for the to and fro airport transfer lah. That helps a lot lah.
Was it
This
the
time
same
around,
one that we
I was
use?
staying at Okubo. It's like one stop away
Hmm.
from Shinjuku, but it's a hotel lah. It's instead of an Airbnb. The good thing is we reach quite early in the morning. So I think we reached about 8:30 or 9 in the morning Japan time. So
Hmm.
uh for hotels they allow you to store our luggage, right? Airbnb
Yeah.
they don't offer that. So that's the good thing lah. So we stored the luggage first before check-in. So okay, it was a smooth trip. Alhamdulillah. We managed to do whatever we set on doing. So Tokyo as usual lah, about a week plus, 8 days, 9 days is more than enough, right? We've all been there, so sucks to be back.
Just
Yeah.
a quick thing. So I was watching YouTube earlier, and then I realized
Mm.
that a lot of Western Western travelers love Singapore. And then Adila made a remark that if Singapore had like a Japan weather, do you guys think it will be more popular of a destination? Because people seem to enjoy Singapore. Like there are so many YouTube reviews about Singapore at the moment. Like prominent YouTubers making
Mm-hmm.
content about how Singapore is like a modern city. I think it would be quite perfect to say. I mean, let's say if we had like four seasons, I think we Singapore would be much crowded and more popular as a tourist destination.
Uh, I don't know. Personally, I feel that Singapore, because one of the things also our airport connectivity lah, right? Our location, like
Yeah,
people uh use us as
pit
a
stop.
country they pass through, like a pit stop, like a stepping stone to other parts of Southeast Asia, especially, right? If you are
Hmm.
flying from the US or from Europe, but uh, as a Singaporean, I think it's more of a good stopover country. I feel,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you run out of things to do quite quickly. Like when you someone asks you like, what can you recommend in Singapore? What do you guys say? Food, some shopping, right? When the shop
Probably
and
Orchard
the
Road,
yeah, so it's like shopping, then maybe
Sentosa,
local
maybe.
food and stuff. So, but even
Yeah.
if the local food is very similar to Malaysia or Indonesia in certain aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the food lah. I mean Chinese food, different matter altogether lah. We wouldn't really know that, but I think it's more of a stopover lah. If you like spend like a couple of nights in between countries,
Yeah.
then you will like, oh, okay, this is not a bad stopover. But to come here for 2 weeks,
What do you do?
I yeah, I mean, okay, I used to work in the zoo when I was younger, right?
Mm.
Mm.
Pre NS days. Like I
Mm.
was at the zoo for like a couple of years. There are people who actually come over from the States just to see our zoo.
What?
Yes, because
Dude,
I enjoy conversing with people,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
You guys know that. So that was a perfect place for me to work in the zoo. So I meet a lot of people from a lot of different countries, a lot of antiques, different people lah, different people. So
Yeah.
there was one tourist. I forgot where he was from. I think it's Texas or something along that line. So he said, I came here. I came here especially for your zoo because
What?
our zoo. And I mean, that was like a good 20 odd years ago. Our zoo has some standing in the world. If you guys are not aware,
Yeah.
Mm.
But like
right?
in the US they have like private owned zoos that have wilder animals and crazier things that they can see and like
But I'm not
Okay, at that
surprised in a
the
sense
zoo,
that the zoo like
yeah,
our
yeah,
our zoo is like quite popular among
yeah,
tourists.
yeah.
Like okay, I've not been to like tons of zoos across the world, right? But we've been to some. We even went. Me and Haffiz went to one Phuket Phuket Zoo. That was a wild ride.
if you're starting a football club, if you are starting a football club, there are elephants there
That
who are
are
willing to sign for
capable,
you
that are
because
capable of playing football.
they have a like a decent sized pitch
Mm-hmm.
and a
For
spectator
elephants.
stand for
Yeah,
elephants to play a football match, bro.
and you can watch the football match.
Yeah, so there's a stand. It's like a mini stadium, right? The
Yeah,
elephants are
correct.
playing football.
That
So if
is
you're
that
starting a
is
football
crazy.
club, if you are starting a football club and you cannot
Sign players.
like sign players
Mm.
or
Elephants, bro.
convince anyone,
As
elephants,
as league take notes.
humans, humans, elephants,
Elephant.
right? Humans,
Settle. Settle.
elephants. No
Settle.
matter who you are, right?
Tapi
Humans, elephants.
have to have a lot of spare balls at least.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably
they
lah.
were quite skilled. But that is what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, I mean, yeah, they had the football and everything, which you will not see in Singapore. But on the other hand, like just the infrastructure,
Yeah, correct.
the amount of animals that we have,
Mm.
Yeah.
how proper it is. I think that's what like
Yeah,
attracts
it's a very well
cat.
planned, well kept. The layout is
Good and stuff. Yeah.
fantastic. So at that point of time, right, the competitor in the States, it was the San Francisco Zoo.
Mm.
At that point of time, I mean I don't read about zoos much these days lah, of course. Like just a bit of trivia there. So yeah.
I feel it will be too crowded if we became like a really or if we had four seasons and we became like a really popular destination
Yeah,
Destination.
in
correct.
Singapore.
It is already crowded,
It is already
right?
so crowded.
So,
There isn't going to be much things to do. So if you have a lot of money to spend, then yes, Singapore is the destination. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to a country where you can walk out in the streets at 3 a.m. and you don't get shot,
yes.
you don't get
So
attacked,
the
and it's safe.
attraction,
It's clean.
yeah,
You know,
correct.
like like you don't smell horse pee coming out from the train station. Like in
Where the hell
Australia,
do you smell horse pee out of
in
the
in,
train station,
in
dude?
Australia when I was in Melbourne and you come out from one of the station, I forgot what was the name. You can literally smell horse pee
How do you
on the
know
street
is horse pee?
because there are police officers here who are on horseback. They ride horses.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Mm.
but yeah, anyway, so it's like who wouldn't want to visit a country like that? But in saying that, uh, then I don't know whether the citizens will suffer if we do become a popular destination because everything is going to be so expensive. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
It could.
we don't deny the positives of the country, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
Mhm.
security is there, safety,
Yeah. Yeah.
connectivity is there. Anywhere you
Yeah.
want to get to by public, you can get to,
Easy. Yeah.
right?
Easy to travel and
Like our like for example, our train system, it's easy to get
amazing. Yeah.
stuff, even like in
Yeah.
the middle of the night. We don't deny these
You
things,
can
but
you can go out at 2 a.m. and still go find a place to eat. You know,
yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
CJ is not on this episode, but CJ loves having prata every morning. We go back in
Mm.
Singapore, every morning kita pergi makan prata because she's like, okay, let's go have breakfast and have iced coffee and prata, you know. So that's something that
Comfort
I
food.
think if you want comfort food, you know, you want like good food, yeah, that's the. I mean, Singapore is definitely a place to visit and a place to like enjoy this kind of stuff. But attraction wise,
Yeah, it's
maybe
not
we might
this.
have an issue there.
But
Yeah, I mean,
definitely,
there of course ada USS, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Sentosa, the zoo, the night safari. Then, but okay, then MBS, the casino, maybe, right?
But definitely
Hey,
the
where did you
side.
go?
Guys, Haikal is having some flu, so it's gonna be like in and out
Sorry, sorry.
of the frame
Yeah,
from time to
Mm.
time. But of course, the size of our country plays a part in the
yeah.
lack of what we can offer to tourists. But
Yep.
still
Yeah, yeah.
interesting, like how much tourists we have. Like,
Oh, we have loads.
right,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
reason I said that was I can only imagine Christmas is down the road, and then I can imagine Christmas lights, and if we had four seasons like snowing in Orchard,
Be quite cool. To be
right?
Yeah, it
honest,
would be beautiful, right?
I think
With the
it'd be
it,
lights and the stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be quite cool.
like you go around MBS and then it's snowing and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Put
to
on your ice skates.
our worldwide listeners, if you are tuning in, Singapore, come to Singapore. We still
Come look for us, man.
we still have things. Yeah, you. I mean, minus cycle. There's still me and Haffiz. We might bring
Yeah.
you guys to the zoo.
Come look for us. Yeah,
Zoo
we'll
trip.
bring you around.
To the
Zoo
zoo
trip
trip.
with the hot set.
Uh,
It could be a
yeah.
it could be a long
but
episode.
but
But anyway,
if we had snow, I think I will suffer. Looks like Hafiz has suffered. Will suffer. So because like every episode,
you
although we are at home, to the
you're
people
in
who are
jackets.
watching, we are always in like some sweater or some jacket,
Yeah.
just because the aircon is on.
And I'm the one in t-shirt when
Fashion
it's much
sense.
colder here.
Sweater weather. Fashion sense.
Sweat.
Oh, that would be the other good thing if we had like season, like we could
Yeah, correct.
dress up in Singapore.
So much fun, bro. I'll
Right,
be
like
honest with you
if
guys.
you go
All
to
my jackets
when
are out.
you were in Japan, like the amount of thrift shopping you could have done, like for
Ooh,
jackets, like for
crazy.
winter wear. If we
Crazy.
had like four seasons, that would be kind of cool.
I enjoyed it. I bought a lot of winter
Yeah,
stuff
Yeah.
that's
for
the
They
thing.
Australia, you know.
they have flea markets on the weekends though.
Yeah.
Mana
I didn't
Tokyo.
go at Tokyo,
Yeah, yeah.
and like it's really on the cheap. So I was at Omote Sando the other day.
Mm.
Between Harajuku and Shibuya. So
Shibuya.
that street,
Mm-hmm.
right? They just like know the clothing racks, right?
Yeah.
The
Mm.
one like at clothing store. They just in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the street. They just hang all the stuff like
Alibaba?
second-hand goods ah.
Yeah.
Oh, baik ke?
And
Baik.
like they are selling it for like $30. In Sing dollars lah, roughly about
Yeah.
$30, $40. And these are like Nike windbreakers from the 90s and stuff. But of
Oh,
course,
damn.
size whatever is there lah, like big,
Yeah, of
like
course.
huge sizes. So that was interesting to see.
I think your
But it's one of those things.
Heikel's dad would have enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
he
definitely,
Right.
definitely.
he missed his chance to win the first prize at the Beyblade competition.
Okay, just
Uh,
repeat that again. What competition?
Beyblade competition. My dad is a Beyblader, apparently. I don't know, but yeah, man, it's a
Uncle,
thing he's picked up, and
uncle, I respect you. You do what you like doing.
you do
All
you,
right.
man. But
Yeah.
yeah, he missed his chance. He got out on the first round. He said the
you,
competition was too hard. You
you know,
know,
before your mom spoke about it, I didn't even have the slightest idea that Beyblade was still a thing
a
in
thing.
Singapore. And then I saw your dad playing, and then I saw some of the videos. He was like, I think maybe in competition, and then I realized there's actually a community of
Competition.
community
That
of
that
Beybladers.
that actually
Beybladers. Aduh, Beybladers.
should
But
we
Oh
should
my god.
start again lah. These things.
but
Tamiya, for example, right? Tamiya.
I mean, Tamiya
I
is still
think
around,
I
right?
believe there is a community for sure, like a
Yeah.
Tamiya
I
car.
saw Avante Black Special in Tokyo.
Ooh,
Ooh, that was
I
like,
saw what was the other
ooh.
car? Emperor. I saw Grasshopper.
man, I forgot about
And
all these names, but now I can recall that these are the popular
Uh,
ones, right?
yeah,
Dash
my
Yonkuro,
first
guys.
my first ever Tamiya my late dad bought for me was Mantare.
Oh,
The name
Mantari.
of the car is Mantare. I still
Uh,
remember to this day.
one of my first or favorite enemy is Dash Yonkuro, if you guys know. Tamiya, you control your Tamiya with a hockey stick, guys. That's the cartoon. That's the
What
control
the
your
enemy.
hell? Or
Tamiya.
Yeah,
series?
the series, the enemy series. It's called Dash Yonkuro. So
So
basically,
this anime series, is it now or back then?
now no more already. Back then, it was back then.
Oh,
I
so
don't know whether you can find it now, but I think maybe if you go online, you search
it's
it.
on you.
Oh,
You
Dash Yonkuro.
Emperor Dash
Yeah, that's
Conqueror
that's
something
that's
like
where
that.
Emperor all came from. Yeah.
Dash, right?
Yeah,
Emperor
Dash, yeah.
Dash. Yeah,
Yeah,
correct,
Emperor
correct.
yeah. So
So
that was one of the first animes that I watched.
the shape of the Tamiya a bit different. The top, right?
No,
Dash a bit
it's
different, right? A bit
it's
different.
actually but they did make it into real life models, and you can actually have the actual models from the cartoon and play with it
Oh,
I'm sure you
and
can find these
race with it.
episodes on YouTube, right?
Probably,
yeah.
yeah,
I've never.
probably,
Not.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not much of a anime guy lah. I think the
Yeah.
one anime I watched was Doraemon when I was a kid, because there's not much on TV, and Kickers. If you guys do, you guys watch Kickers? Have you guys heard about Kickers?
I don't
Off or
recall
off Kickers? Okay, Captain
Kickers.
Subasa, right?
Yeah, correct. Okay, that I
Okay,
know.
okay, Captain Subasa. There was
Captain
actually
Subasa, yes.
another show called Kickers.
Oh, I
So on
never.
YouTube, you can find Kickers. It's a cartoon from the
In
80s. But last time it was on Malaysian TV lah. Tapi
mm,
uh, kartun Jepun dia cakap Melayu lah tapi. Tapi suara dia macam orang Jepun. Till
Tobita,
kan.
I don't
Macam
understand.
Doraemon, dia
Topi
cakap Melayu,
ajaib.
dia cakap Melayu tapi dia macam orang Jepun. So who was that guy? Who were those people?
You know there is actually zero need for you to like have like to dub it in Malay and then try to sound Japanese. You can just dub it in
Sound
Malay.
Malay.
Kan
Yeah,
dub
just
is
sound
cerita.
Malay.
But
Topi
it, it,
ajaib.
Sunyo,
Oh,
Shizuka, Shizuka.
mari
Giant
sini.
lah tu. Oh, Giant. Oh. That was. Well, I enjoyed childhood, man. Really, all these shows.
Oh man. Ah,
now
but then
now
it's nice to
so
have you back
yeah. So while you
from
were
Japan.
In Japan there were interesting things that happened in Singapore. I think I linked you guys to some of the articles. So for context
Ooh,
to those who are listening
let's
in,
get down and grimy.
to those that are tuning in, or if you have no idea what happened, so just some brief facts. So there is this company called UOL. So UOL had a D&D. I don't know what the theme
Okay.
for this D&D was. I have no idea what the theme was. So a bunch of these UOL employees decided to don Afro wigs. Then they wore some tracksuit And then lastly, they painted their face black, which is commonly known as blackface.
Oh,
So
okay. I think I saw the photos. Yeah,
yeah, it was like all over, and then it became like popular in a, I mean, in a negative sense.
bad way lah.
And then
Mm.
the company itself, UOL, put out a half-assed apology. Before anything, when you guys saw the article or the post, what do you guys think of that?
Aku,
Mm,
I felt truly upset. Um, you know, my wife being from the US,
Mm-hmm.
I hear a lot of stories, or she tells me a lot of stories when I visited family back in the US as well. You know, and being there as well, you can see right how people are being treated, and I think is it's ignorant. It's sad because people don't actually take the time to go and know the problems
Mm-hmm.
and think that this is something that can be used as a joke or can be
yeah,
used
sadly, right?
as like a costume, right? I think that's very bad because we are not from a country where we are not educated. I believe these people are educated, especially these people who chose to dress up or to don this costume. I believe they are very educated, and for them to be ignorant just because we are Asian, that's even worse for me. So I felt, honestly, I felt a bit. I felt sad. I felt a little of anger, even though I'm not. I did. We didn't go through the the troubles of this. Especially um, Black Americans or any
Any
people of color. Yeah, or any
Africans,
African
right?
Americans So we don't know. We only learn from what we know, right? Oh, sorry, we only know from what we learn, right?
Yeah.
And you try to respect that no matter who it is, right? So I think it's really ignorant of them. It's just very sad lah. It's not something that you should make fun of, and also the fact that they won the best dress. The
That is the absolute worst part of the story, lah, I
right?
think. My
Why
word.
the company in the first place should the people in the company should know this better as well, right? There's a lot of different religious. It's this
You'll be
really.
surprised how ignorant people can be
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sometimes. Like we are, I mean, we are not the best educated people,
yeah,
right? But we do know stuff. We do pay attention to stuff. Like you say, like
yeah,
we know when something is insensitive,
Mm-hmm.
right?
yeah,
From a mile away, we can see, like, okay, we should avoid doing this because it's insensitive, right? But I think it's ingrained in you in a way, like it's an upbringing kind of thing, or like to them maybe to the judge that they thought that wow they put in so much effort, but there is a bigger issue here, isn't it? Right?
yeah.
Like okay for the effort, but if without the painted faces, it would have been all right too, isn't it? Why the need like with the afro hair
Yeah.
or like the
Track
costume, right?
track suit, right?
So you had to go down that path
And
where you chose
paint
to paint.
paint
But
your
Yeah.
but
So
face.
here's how I think about it, right? Okay, let's think on how these people, right, this group of people who dressed up as such, right? If you think about it, they definitely had to research and look this up to like, hey, let's dress up as this
S-
character, right?
yeah,
yeah.
So they
yeah.
they definitely know what they were doing, betul tak? So
Yes,
like
exactly,
so like
exactly.
if you did your research and you read the why it is this is something that you shouldn't like make fun of, or this was something that people used to make fun, like, last time they had advertisements like
Mm-hmm.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
like paint the black face, and this became like a racial thing for black people, right? Like, why then, if you read up and go look up this history, and you like, hey, you can still like, after reading up the history or knowing what it is, and you can still like, hey, I think we should use this as a costume. Let's dress up as, let's paint our face black and use afros and then go for bloody D&D. You get what I mean? I think
Right. Insensitive
I
lah.
don't know.
It comes
Yeah,
back to what
Right.
Hafiz said. Ignorance is just blatant ignorance. Like
Yeah.
you said,
You'll be surprised, no? You'll be surprised.
yeah,
however much I believe, like in general, for in Singapore, you would be educated to a certain level, correct? So these are
yeah.
not people
Mm.
who do not know anything. So I, as usual, when something controversial happens, I always go into the comment section. And credit to a lot of Singaporeans, be it Chinese, Malay, Indians, a lot of people saw that this was racist. This whole
Mm.
thing was
Mm.
racist.
Yeah.
But but as usual, there are the people who uh, try
Oh
to
my god.
justify. And I use the band's account, right? So for those who do not follow, please follow at Team Heartfelt. That's our band. But so
Yeah.
I engage conversation in a conversation with this person who did not find an issue with what happened. The person said that these are the two main points that this person had. Number one, do not bring the American wokeism culture into Singapore. Number
Please
two,
lah.
the person said that this, if it is meant for a performance, it should be fine. So the person
Mm.
cited like, okay, in movies, maybe someone acts as someone that's disabled. Why can you do it? These
So
are the
an
points.
attempt to sound intelligent lah at the same time,
Yeah,
right? When he
and
engaged
attempt
you.
to justify. So for all you know, it might be one of the participant or the participant's sister or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatsoever. I think that itself is an issue because they do not find it as an issue. Like when we see it, we
Mm.
know it's
Mm.
wrong. How can
Yeah.
you how can you, apart from trying to justify, and then you think that it's a different country's culture? This is a race matter. It's not like a country issue.
Yeah.
It's a race
Yeah.
matter, right? So these are the same ignorant people who will thereafter make other comments about a different race. And I am fine if you do not think it is racist because that's just your stupidity. But what
Exactly.
really irritates me is when people try to justify when they are not impacted by what happened, right? When you look at this,
Mm.
I don't know
Mm.
how many people were in that crew of dumbasses. How can you dress up like that, go out of the house? I don't know how they traveled to the D&D location, where
They
whatever
probably
your
they,
means of
they probably took a
grab.
train or bus or something.
If
Aku
I
believe they.
was if I was at the train station, right, I would tell them do not enter. You can
Yeah,
just call up the police or whatsoever, right? It's like a
yeah.
Or
racist
in
matter.
probability they painted their faces right before lah.
Right before maybe
Uh,
at the
Right,
event.
maybe, right.
yeah.
Can be, yeah.
So if that is the issue, then there are people, when you register, you go for any company's D&D, right? You probably have to register at the door. The people at the door should have also told them off.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
hey, this is not appropriate. You should not be doing that.
Correct.
Yeah, the
There's
company
so
definitely
many
vetted,
levels,
right?
so many levels of failure is the right word lah, right? To like avoid this issue. Like how does a company, I'm not sure how big this company is, probably it is lah, right?
Yeah, UOL I think
How
is quite known.
how yeah, how did no one uh foresee that, hey, this is going to cause a stir? How did no one
Yeah,
at all realize that, right?
your company's PR people would have seen it. The people
Yeah,
who are in
exactly.
charge of public relations would have been like, okay, this is going to be a bad rep for my company. And
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe the company condones it or whatsoever. I have no idea. Even their apology was half-assed. They should have made like a more sincere apology. I think their apology was a one-liner.
Yeah.
So what
Token
I
lah, token. Yeah.
uh, so what I am curious about is, will there be a legal follow up? I'm not sure, because when there were certain influencers who made a sort of track, a diss track or whatsoever that was lah, highlighting certain issues and then mentioning certain races, they got into legal trouble. So
Mm.
I
Mm.
wonder if, because this does not concern a race, probably in Singapore,
In
in
Singapore.
general, in Singapore, so will it be swept under the rug? Because I have no idea. I have no idea what's the follow up. It seemed like the matter ended, but we have to do better, Singaporeans, or
Yeah.
not even Singaporeans, because this thing happens in the States as well. This
Everywhere.
blackface matter happens at so many places, and people have to do better. I think a lot of it is education, educating people from young. When we speak about this, I remember, I think, I'm not sure, I think I told you guys before, I once took a bus, just a short trip back home. So there were these primary school kids boarded the bus. So there was this like Malay boy and an Indian boy, and they were friends. Obviously, they were friends. So they were chit
Mm.
chatting. You know how kids be like saying dumb shit from time to time,
Yeah.
right? So somewhere in the conversation, because they're speaking quite loudly, so you can hear everything quite clearly. The boy, uh, the Malay boy, told the Indian kid, "Your skin is so black, like a N word."
Mm.
Mm.
Right.
And then
Mm.
what what took me back was, you know how kids listen to certain things, watch certain movies, or hear certain songs, and maybe might pick up a word. What really sort of affected me, or was the idea that he knew the context to use the word.
Yeah.
Mm. And he
So
thinks it's okay to do it as well,
it's okay, right?
right?
So when we alighted the bus, so unfortunately for the Malay boy, he alighted at the same bus stop as I did, and then I pulled him one side. He was going back with a friend or something. I pulled him one side and told him off, and then he looked like he
Mm.
Mm.
was about to cry, and then he quickly crossed the road and all that stuff. So a lot of this has to be educating. You have to educate the children. Some of these things are being passed down, or maybe you don't care, or you do not educate because you do not think it is important. But this is important, especially in a country that uh, very much takes pride in being multi-racial,
Racial.
Yeah.
multicultural.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that, kita we were in a system, or in an education system, where we learn to, live with other races, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we have so many different friends of different races in school, all the way up to we work, right? And we learn about each other's race. We respected each other's religion, or our, sorry, not only religion, but our different racial practices. And I we we should we also know about races from other countries as well. I believe I knew about races from other countries, and some of the sufferings that they went through from my own studying. I learned on my own,
Yeah, you read
through
up,
the
or you
net.
you hear.
You read up, and there are many nowadays. There are so many places where you can learn about all these things. Especially like, it was so specific, like this group chose to dress up like that, when there was a big issue about this back then, and stuff like with regards to their, the way they were dressed up. So, like, for me, like, you can learn all these things, right? Just like what you say, right? We can do better. And yeah, man, education is very important. Like, I think if we don't educate from young, then become like, you see, like the kids that you told off, Ahmad, like,
Right,
they
it was
they
quite
knew. Yeah.
disappointing. So Hafiz, you have kids of very impressionable age. Have you
Mm.
tackled
Mm.
this with them? Have you spoke to them about it, or is there has there been a need to speak about it so far?
Definitely time to time I do uh, see them, like for example, when they are at public areas, right, like the playground and stuff. So I will just monitor how they interact, uh, not only with our own race, but
Other races.
there are kids from other races as well, right? We want everyone to like uh, be able to communicate well, interrace. So it's not only like you are surrounded by your own community. I do especially for Kois lah. I think in prime, because she's in primary school,
Mm-hmm.
so these things start to develop from there, right? So we're not only talking about other races here, but even from, let's say, our own race, there are people with very ignorant mindsets,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? So these issues are like interrace. Like I believe like for that particular incident, maybe to them it's a light-hearted thing,
Yeah.
but it's always a light-hearted thing if it's not something you are affected by,
Yeah. And you don't
right?
go through. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
If you are of that particular, like for example, in the audience, imagine there was uh, like
Any like black people, right?
African, right, Black
Yeah.
Black guy.
American,
Yeah.
or like how would that guy feel? And
Mm.
imagine in a whole setting where everyone is laughing about it,
Mm-hmm.
and you are the only one there. How do you feel? That you have to laugh
Mm.
along, but how do you know how
Yeah.
he feels, right? You don't go through what they go through. Like for us, even in our context, right, we know it by reading, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's really sad to see, and it's not something that we went through, and we feel like, hey, this is not right, right? Things they go through. So imagine what they feel.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a, like, you think that it's light-hearted. Why are people taking it so seriously? Because you are not well informed, but you are not, or you are not like educated enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of a
Mm.
personal attack, but I think you guys are asking for people to say these things,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right? It
definitely.
is so unnecessary. So I mean, circle back to what you said about my kids. If I were to see it, like maybe out of habits, like
Mm-hmm.
interaction at primary school, right? Kids among
Mm.
kids, among them. But I will definitely tell them off lah. I will definitely tell them off, even if it's interracial stuff, inter-religious stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? I will tell them off if it's something that is not right. Because I think these things you have to ingrain in them from this age lah. Exactly,
You have
like you
to
mentioned, right? Impressionable age,
nip it in the bud,
right?
right?
Because it's something that sometimes I just tell them it's not something that I taught you or something that is being practiced in this household.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm not the best uh the person with the best of characters. I'm not claiming that, but
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I do know where things are definitely wrong or things are definitely not correct or insensitive. I will always
Yeah.
avoid that,
Yeah.
right? I wish to see that in my kids lah, definitely.
I think tying up to what you spoke about, yeah, there's definitely this. If you are not if you are not affected by it, then it doesn't bother you.
Mm-hmm.
Mentality. I think when it comes to race or when it comes to religion, when someone tells you it is sensitive, you do
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
question it,
yeah,
or
correct.
you do not feel like, hey, you are like oversensitive about everything. No, person A might laugh about it, but if person B has told you that it is a sensitive issue, then you have to accept it, because it is not your race, it is not your religion, it is not your place to to tell somebody what should be sensitive and what
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be sensitive, especially if it does not concern you, right? There is that
Yeah.
very, why are you so sensitive about it? It's just a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the things that gets passed down, and then we will never eradicate this problem. There's just no way to a lot of okay, let's put the blackface aside. A lot of racial issues in Singapore, I believe is being passed down, right?
Yeah.
Like people make certain remarks. What is disappointing in 2024 is we still have to talk about this when this should have
Mm.
been like something that has stopped a long time ago.
What we
In
learn
2024,
yeah.
we are still talking about it. Is so disappointing, and this is not even behind the scenes. These people didn't do it behind the scene at like a bachelor party or bachelorette party. They did it out in the open in the company's D&D. So
Mm.
that shows the level of ignorance that people have when it comes to race relations. Have you guys encountered racism? Especially you, Michael, now that you are in Australia.
Ooh,
Have
I've
you encountered any racial
so
issues?
I've got a spicy story. Okay, first and foremost, being able to experience, living in another country. I always thought that, oh, okay, back then when I moved to Australia, people will tell me like, hey, Australia racist country and stuff like that. But I didn't get to see that as a visitor, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a tourist, I didn't get to see that. So what happened was, this story was when I was, I think, second year in living in Sydney, and I was working at a bike shop. So I was working at a bike shop, and this bike shop technically sells, gravel bikes, electronic bikes, so e-bikes, like
Mm-hmm.
bikes
Yeah,
with
this was the previous job you
battery.
had, right?
The previous
The
job, yeah.
previous job, right? Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So the bikes could get really pricey. So the
Mm-hmm.
bikes,
Mm.
like an e-bike could be like probably 10K, 12K, 7K, that price range though. So we're talking like this is the Mercedes of like bicycles, Sorry, by bike when I say bike, is a bicycle shop. It's
Bicycle shop.
not a
Mm.
motorcycle shop. But
Mm.
anyway, so we have a lot of customers who pay premium prices. So what happened was I was the head of the workshop. So technically, not head of the workshop, I was the front or the face of the workshop. So I assist customers in booking in their bikes for services. So I'll be like, I'm the workshop coordinator lah. So I will set
Okay.
up a time for them. So what happened was this guy came in with probably, like, I would say the bike was like, I think, $18,000 bike.
Mm.
And I think that was the first time I saw this customer. This was my first time interacting with this customer. I've never seen him before. He came in, and so my manager's name, or the owner of the shop's name, is Chris. So
Mm.
he's quite known in the bicycle world here in Sydney. So he came in. He was like, where's Chris? And I was like, oh, Chris is not around because he went to the bank to cash in some money and stuff.
Mm.
He won't be back for like another 3 hours. Oh, okay. I guess, yeah, you will do. And I'm like, okay, how
Okay.
can I help you? Like, what are you here for today? Oh, I'm just dropping in my bike. Can you sure Chris is not back? And I'm like, no, he won't be back. You can
why
just tell
why
me.
would you lie
Yeah,
about it? Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, I'll help you. Don't worry. I'll help you. Like, is there any issue? Like, are you a customer here? I said, yeah. Uh, yeah. I have some issues with my bike. But and he told me the stuff that he needed to do in English,
Mm-hmm.
though, in English.
Mm.
And then he looked at me like, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Like, what do you mean? Like, do I understand what you're saying, or do I understand the issues that you're having on your bike?
Mm.
He's like, no. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm like, yes, of course I understand what you're saying. Like, we are conversing in English, and I'm like, so what's the issue? And then I got a bit riled up. So then my so-called workshop manager came
Mm.
and took over. And that my workshop manager is TJ lah. The in the first
Oh
episode,
yeah.
we said she's the
Well,
screamer.
what's a
Screamer.
band's name
K9,
again?
K9,
K9.
K9. Yeah. So she stepped in and she helped me, and I found out later on that this guy is a bit of, because I'm Asian, right? I'm the only Asian guy in the shop. Or I
Mm-hmm.
was the
Okay.
Asian guy. There was another Asian lady in the shop. So but I was the only Asian guy in the shop. So, like, he's a bit racist lah. So I think that one actually took me back a bit, because I was like, aku was confused. I was so shocked. I was like, what the hell is happening? Apa yang dia tanya aku ni? Why are you asking me, like, I asked him, like, why are you asking me if I understand you? I'm talking to you in English. I'm speaking
Yeah.
with you in English. And then dia macam, no, but do you understand what I'm saying? Did you take down all the notes? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yes. Like, how, macam mana aku nak jawab? What am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
So aku was lost
And
because
you didn't you didn't even see it coming, right? Like
yeah,
you questioning me like in this manner, you didn't see it coming lah. So
yeah. So now here, the sad part is, you know, my manager or the owner of the bicycle shop, he's a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's always that like that issue where we have to make the customer happy, right? But of course, I wasn't happy. I spoke with him at length about this,
mm, mm.
and I think after that he took some actions against this customer. And but you know, so that I think that showed me like, wow, you know, people are like that, you know, especially
So
they look at you.
so the first response of the manager was one of ignorance. You feel like to it being racial.
Like you should get used to these things. Is that
not
like
not
along
not
the line?
that, but he I guess because this guy is a paying customer, right?
So he
Yes.
put the business first.
Yeah,
That
Mm.
that's a,
is kind of business first. I mean, it was a bit sad, because that wasn't the only uh, the only time that I went through that issue. There was another time after that, but that was over the phone, so it wasn't face to face. This was like face to face, right? And aku macam like I told him like this is not acceptable lah. You know,
Mm.
maybe I'm able to handle it better. What
mm-hmm.
if there was someone else and they couldn't take it and something happened? You know,
Yeah.
what if on that day aku flip and aku just rembat this guy and like I took a bike and I
Yeah.
just threw at his face or whatever, or just like, you know, whack his bike or whatever, then it'll be a bigger issue, right? It'll be much worse. But his take on it was a bit sad. Unfortunately, I couldn't understand it, even though he's the owner of the business.
Mm-hmm.
He owns the business, but I couldn't accept his reason, and also that was probably one of the reasons why I choose to leave the shop. You know.
So is it it seems like I mean we've all heard stories about
Mm,
people migrating to Australia, to New Zealand,
mm,
right? So
mm.
it seems like partially yeah lah, definitely race lah, because he did ask
Yeah.
you whether you understood or not. And it's like more of you are second class citizen in a way.
Mm,
They
mm.
classify you as such, right? Because I've heard stories of these things as well. Also, although not
So
many,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
So
it
so back
exists
back
lah.
then back then, this is what I found out living here lah kan. You know, back then probably you're talking about like 15, 20, maybe
Mm,
even
mm,
longer than that years ago. There were racial wars here and stuff like that
okay.
between like Lebanese people and Australian people and like different races lah basically, right? So of course, being of different color, when people, you know, don't you don't live in an area where your color is not the majority, of course
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have these kind of issues. Now, in saying that, um it, 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 it's always known that you respect each other, and you know, you at the end of the day, we are all working people. If you stab
Yeah.
me, I'm gonna bleed red, right? If I
Yeah.
stab you, you bleed red. At the end of the day, we are all human beings, right? So it doesn't matter what race or what religion you are from. Now, the issue for me was, um in the 3 years now that I live here, or apart from that one episode at the bicycle shop, I've never faced anything. Tau. Everyone was nice. I didn't
Mm,
have any of
mm,
the issue. That 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 put the question mark in my head. I was like, is it because I was working in that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it because this guy is rich, that's why he's acting that way? Is it because he feels like he's entitled, that's why he's doing that, or
yeah.
he's treating me like that? But at the same time, it shouldn't be a question mark in my head,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah, because kita tengah berbual, we are talking, what, we are having a conversation here, but the question that you ask me is so like, it's so weird.
Condescending.
Degrading,
Yeah,
right?
like so
In
degrading
a way.
now. So
Yeah.
so it is it just because he see me as a different color because I'm of different race, or is it just he sees me like like because I'm working there. That's why he can treat me that way.
So it might
So
be a class thing. Like
yeah, so it could be a class thing as well. But I truly feel it was more racial because like when someone else took over the conversation with him,
it was different.
normal.
I have a
It was normal.
question.
Mm. Mm.
How much of uh CJ being white plays a part in you not encountering more racist remarks? Because it might
Yep.
look CJ is white, right? So in
Yep.
Australia, it's like you guys are out together, and then they see, maybe they think, oh, she might be Australian, and this is like her partner or whatsoever. So, but do you think it would be more
So,
if
okay.
CJ wasn't white?
I think it goes back to like this, right? When we were in Singapore, when we were living in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
everyone will look at her in a weird way just because she's walking with me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we were
Mm.
married in Singapore. We were already married, right? So we were holding hands and like husband and wives, just walking, holding
So,
hands,
yeah,
you know.
the typical
So
Singaporean
yeah,
reaction
but
lah, right?
funny thing,
Singaporean
and the
have
funny thing was, okay, here's the funny thing. This was a very sad day for both me and CJ, right? I think I never told you guys this. We went to Lazarus Island. I think
Mm.
is it Lazarus, right? We went to Lazarus
Mm.
Island. So we went with some of my ex colleagues, and there was this Malay family, right? And I was walking with CJ, and this makcik, it was so sad. I was so sad. She said it so loud. She said this, "Eh, perempuan ni putih macam hantu ah."
Hmm.
And and she was walking with her kids and all that. Like macam like her daughter and I think the daughter's husband and the cucu and everything.
Yeah.
And I laugh. I laugh because aku was so sad. I had to laugh and I turned around. I said, sorry cik cakap apa?
Was she
And
taken
then
aback?
she Melayu eh. I'm like, then aku cakap dengan dia, aku cakap, cik, minta maaf saya minta maaf dulu. Tapi tegur tu lain kali jangan tegur lah, tak baik lah. Memang bukan kita punya
Mm.
adab dengan kita punya agama untuk tegur macam gitu. Then the daughter, sorry, we are so sorry. And that is sad. That shouldn't be the
It
case.
shouldn't even have been said at the first place,
Yeah.
Exactly. Just
right?
because that person is white, you think you can just say that and
Mm.
it's like like so I think it's the same here. I think now she's getting less stares from people. I get the stare now
I mean,
because
definitely lah,
I'm
right?
Asian
And
and I'm with
the
a white girl. But I believe yes, maybe me being with CJ, it's a bit lesser,
It
but
helps.
it helps. But I haven't.
But
That's the
I
thing.
mean, in general, it's fine living in Australia, right? It's
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
like
it is.
you encounter it on a day-to-day basis. It's just like from time to time it might happen,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So it's more of maybe an atas culture thing lah, right? More
Mm-hmm.
to someone who's like I'm above you, in terms of status in life, right? Which
Yeah,
occurs
Everywhere.
frequently here as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Everywhere,
yeah.
right? Correct. So it's
It's a sad thing though. I think it's so
yeah,
whack.
yeah.
It's so
I
whack
think
that
racism
okay.
in general feels like a majority against the minority
Mm,
issue everywhere. I think
like
Mhm.
that
like
is
like
about it.
we talk about atas, right? So like when I was working at a bicycle shop again, I had customers who actually spend crazy amount of money. You're talking like can buy a car amount of money, but yet the nicest people
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
thank me every like, oh my god, thank you Haikal, so glad you are here, so glad to have you working in the shop. And these are customers saying that to me though. And they are like they are filthy rich. So when I compared that conversation I had with that guy and with some of the customers, I truly feel it's a racial thing. It was a racial thing. It had nothing to do with his status or whatever. Even though it did put that question mark in my head lah.
Mm,
So yeah
mm.
lah, that was the sad thing lah, I guess.
Hafiz, your personal takes. Have you ever encountered racism or subtle racism or what? Okay, wait. Here's one thing I want to say. There's always the subtle racism. No, there is no thing as subtle racism. Racism is
Is
racism.
racism.
Mm.
Yes,
People
exactly.
like to say, oh, this is a smaller scale of
Nope,
racism. No,
nope.
whether it is
Same shit.
the so-called smaller scale or
Same shit.
atas is the same damn thing.
Same shit. Yep.
Yeah, I mean personally, to be frank, I mean I've born in Singapore, grown up, alhamdulillah, up to this age. I've never actually felt uh how do I put it, like personally I've not been I feel that I've been a victim of racism.
Racism.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I've really never felt that. But I mean, I think different people they take in things differently. Like
Differently.
sometimes, like you mentioned, subtle racism, like racism, but it's still, it depends on the individual, right? Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
like we growing up in a multicultural, multiracial society, there are jokes like thrown around,
Mm-hmm.
not only at us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to when I say us, like maybe some people are not viewing the video. Like we are Malay culture, Malay community. Most three of us, right? Mostly we
Yep.
grew up, except for Medila, mix of
Mm-hmm.
both,
Yep.
right? So, not only thrown by us some jokes or for the matter, but towards us as well. But I think it's a very how do I put it? Complicated is too strong a word, but when you exist or try to coexist in a multi-racial, multicultural community, you have
Mm-hmm.
to understand your limits, lah. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a thing
Yep.
called a joke,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a thing called, hey, that's way too far.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially like among friends or among strangers,
Yeah.
for example. Right? You have to know your limits. But I think these things, they are ingrained in you, or you grow up with it, right? Because
Yeah.
if you reach a certain age and you pass off a remark, or you just say something that hurts, uh not only by race lah, by whatever it is, like even within the same race, that you
Mm-hmm.
give
Mm.
the kind of remarks. But if you think that it's okay to pass off that remark, it means that you really actually think that this is okay, what, right? This is an okay thing, and that is the saddest part of it, that
Ignorance
you,
against.
like it's more of ignorance to me, because you grow up with it, like like for example the makcik you were saying, right?
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
for example, like who are you to pass off that kind of remark loudly? Like if you were to tell it just to your kids, like maybe she didn't anticipate that you actually understood, because she
Yeah.
thought that maybe like you were not uh of the
Samoan.
same race,
Yeah,
not
Samoan.
someone who, someone Fiji,
Fiji.
Fiji
like a
Island.
Fiji. Yeah, but it's I feel that the root cause is always ignorance lah, like insensitive towards others. Like you don't face the issue, you don't think that is an issue,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? So I mean, not this I growing up in the 90s, I genuinely feel that it was better. Everything was better, like the sense of community, like inter relationship between people, between neighbors in general. Like I really feel that it was better. But now, if you ask me for my point of view, it's more of the material culture crept in
Mm-hmm.
all the race, across all the race, even in ours,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more of an atas entitled culture thing. I can afford this, so I'm better than you.
Mm. Mm.
And sometimes it's across races. So you feel that, hey, this is racism.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me, this is what I
Mm.
feel. Like it's more of that sense of like, oh now,
Entitlement.
oh yeah, I'm at this stage in life, this status in life, I'm higher than you. But these things are I mean, material things are material things, right? How you can't take them with you eventually,
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
right? You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I've met people who are doing so well in life, who are the nicest people that I've ever met, right? And I have friends across all races who are the best people I know, even up
Mm.
to this day. But of course, I have people I know who are of the same race who can be the worst kind of people too, right? So I don't know, but I mean, going back to your question, personally, growing up, I mean, I'm like 40, 41 this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've never felt it
Your
against
age, your
me
age has
directly.
your age has
Get
finally
real.
popped
Yeah,
out.
I'm proud of it lah. So alhamdulillah. So not I've never felt it. I never felt it personally against me lah, but sometimes against the our race or against
Mm-hmm.
other race. Sometimes you hear on the off, right? People making the kind of snide remarks, unnecessary remarks, like why do you create this kind of issues when it's not
Not
necessary, right? Yeah,
necessary.
that's that the end game is never ever good when you go down that path. It is
Yeah.
never ever gonna end well. So when you start off, you start that ball rolling, it's you know the end game is gonna be something bad, right?
Yeah.
How so at the end of the day again, ignorant lah. Right? Very, very ignorant. Like, it's just a joke, what? Why so sensitive? Like yeah, you don't face it, you don't feel it lah.
Mm-hmm.
Kan?
Correct.
So yeah.
Here
What
is
Was
what
I
why
bring yeah.
here is why I feel when I mention when you are a majority of a specific place and you are a minority of a specific place, we can see the difference in that when I speak to you guys. Like Michael, you might have a bad experience in Australia now that you're living
Yeah,
abroad.
yeah.
Like
yeah.
when I speak to Haffiz, it's like um, in general, no.
Yeah.
Mm.
But I'm Indian, so I can tell you guys off the bat, like there's tons of times that I have encountered like racist remarks, either being said to me or said to someone else uh, when I was in the setting, and then because people generally just associate me as, oh, he's Malay, right? But I'm
Mm.
Indian,
Mm.
so
Mm. Mm.
some of these things. So here is my PSA for Singaporeans. There are a few things that you guys should avoid when talking to Indian people. Number one, the K word, which is keling. Keling,
Mm.
it is not a word to use. This is fucking 2024. If your mom said it, if your grandmother said it, leave it with them. One
Yeah.
day they're not going to be around. You do not have to pass it to your children. It is a word that is still being used among the educated people,
People.
and then people uh, like the saddest part of it is people know you shouldn't say it,
Mm.
because I have been in situations whereby they use the word thinking that I'm Malay, or just because I'm with Malay people,
Mm.
they use it against somebody else. It's okay, but if the person was to be in front of them, they wouldn't say it.
They wouldn't
It's
say it.
much
Yeah.
like the N word,
Mm.
correct?
Mm. Correct.
The
Correct.
N word, you're not supposed to say it, but at the back of it, you might say it. It is a no. It's 2024. Malay people, back up. It's over. This word. I don't know what is
Yeah.
the where it originates from, but that's done. Chinese people, when you see an Indian person in the lift, when you see an Indian person walking behind you, stop your the Indian guy is following you. Do you know that Singapore's, like there was this publication, Singapore's most shocking crimes committed from 1970 something to 2000 something.
Mm.
Not a single major crime was committed by Indian
But
guy. So where the fuck do you guys get it that the Indian guy is gonna do something bad to you? It doesn't make sense. This
Fucking hell. Yeah.
this
Scoundrels.
was this was recently this thing happened whereby this popular like influencer. I think this influencer's brother or something. He was out in a shopping center.
Oh,
He
that
was
was
walking.
sad,
Oh
bro.
yeah. I saw that. I saw that.
He was walking behind this mom and son, and then this mom passed the remark like, "There's a ghost behind you. Quickly walk away."
Oh my god.
Where?
In
Why?
2024, though, right? In
And
2024, this
but
kind of remark, my word.
my only credit is the son actually apologized to the guy
Yeah.
and
That's a
said sorry,
good to
that
see.
sorry his mom is like this. But the problem will not eradicate if you guys keep passing it down. The word that I told you guys, the K word, if you guys
Mm.
keep on saying it and then your kids pick it up, it will never stop. And then when
Yeah.
you guys get punched in the face, then you guys cry about it and be like, "Oh,
Itu video, itu video. Eh,
I didn't know, I
ambil
didn't
video.
know." Oh, you
These
if
days,
you
Saya ambil
if you
video dulu.
if you don't
Mesti
know,
nak kena ambil video.
you're stupid, right? And there's a lot of other things that Indian people go through. Whether it's the way they talk, whether we all animate a certain way when we talk, right? Our heads shake. There is no need to make fun of the Indian language, Tamil. You don't have to make fun of Tamil. You don't have to make fun of somebody's head is shaking. Have you ever spoke to me? I'm Indian. Have you ever spoke to me and you see like my head shaking like 1,000 different ways? No,
So
right?
old school racist joke ni Right, old
So
school right.
why is it in 2024? Because someone's parents did not educate them. But what can we
Yeah.
do? Educate, educate. There's so many things that Indians go through on a daily basis, whether it's the color of the skin. The funny part of some of the people who make fun of like our darker complexion are the same people who love who be telling you like, oh, my idol is Michael Jordan, oh, LeBron James is my favorite guy, and then
Exactly.
Yeah.
you make fun of a person
Exactly.
who is of a lighter complexion. It might be brown, but it is it's funny to you because the person is a bit dark. It's 2024, man. People need to buck the fuck up, man.
Yeah.
It is sad because um down the line, like now I have a kid. Even when I didn't have one, I always worried in that sense. Would my kid have to go through the things that I went through?
Yeah, naturally you would be
And,
worried, right? Yeah.
and like, there's nothing wrong with the people. Like my Indian friends are perfectly educated, like whole great jobs. So
Yeah.
why do you guys have to like push us down just because the color of the skin, or there are certain things that if you do not understand, ask. If you think even the a simple thing, and this is not me being overly sensitive, the word anne means brother, elder brother.
Yeah.
It's not younger
Yeah.
brother.
Mm.
So it's much like somebody calls a Malay guy bang, right?
Yeah.
Bang. When you call a Malay guy bang or abang, you do not have some uh, weird way to pronounce it, correct? You do not like call him, because the word anne means big elder brother. If you want to call me anne, just call me anne in the way I'm talking. But there will be like ne, ne, ne for fuck. So are you even
Yeah.
using the word in the context of the word, which is supposed to mean in respect, or are you using it in a sense that it sounds funny to you? Because some Chinese people like to use the word apunene. Where the fuck does it come from? What does it even mean? It
Yeah.
is a derivative of the word ane, right?
Aneh. Yep.
Right. It means
Mm.
elder brother. By right, it is so respectful. But the way some people choose to use it, it is disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
If so, always ask. If you feel that you want to call somebody something, ask. Right. You do not make up your own assumptions that, oh, I know this word, so let me use this word against this person. No, it is wrong. And this is not me being overly sensitive. This is me telling you that I might be able to take it, But one day, if you get punched in the face, do not blame the person who
Yeah,
punched you in the
exactly.
face, because
Exactly.
you do
Mm.
not want to change your ways. And racism is big, guys. It's race or religion is big. Just do not make a mockery out of it. It's so easy. What he said, it's easier to not offend someone than to offend the person. But a lot
Yeah.
of times people just choose to offend people by
Yeah.
passing a word or saying a word that you don't even have to, but you just choose to because it's funny. But it will not be funny when your nose is bleeding if somebody punches you in the face for saying something wrong.
I think we are quite lucky because we actually face a lot of racism, especially when we were younger, growing up and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But we are lucky. Why I say we're lucky? Because if we face racism maybe in United States or some other country, you probably be
You might
killed.
be shot. You
Yeah,
might be shot.
exactly. So
Right?
we are actually very lucky because like the most you can get is what you say. Yeah, you your nose might be bleeding but you gotta
I'm
take it
not.
you
Yeah, but
gotta be take it.
with that being said, I'm not condoning that violence is the
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
to
exactly.
racism.
If
But
someone snaps,
there are limits. Yeah, exactly. There are limits to people. I do not
exactly.
understand this. And speaking of limits, more Singaporean dumbassery that happened
Oh my god.
was another video I shared with you guys. The Indian guy who was waiting for a lift at a shopping center.
Oh, okay, the
Right.
elevator story. Yeah.
So okay, just to give some context again, this Indian chap has a brother who has some disability. So the brother
Wheelchair
is
bound. Yeah,
wheelchair bound.
Mm.
yeah.
So in the short video that came up and became viral was the lift was closing and then this guy was mad. You can see uh, a lady trying to calm him down and then her bag flung. But then the situation was, but that is one nice uh, a racial harmony that I saw. The lady who was trying to calm him down was a Chinese lady. There was another lady who was covering the ears of the guy's brother who was on the wheelchair because she didn't
Mm.
want him to get like
Yeah, agitated
Riled up or yeah,
overwhelmed,
yeah.
right?
overwhelmed. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And there was a Malay lady. So look, racial harmony can work, but the bigger issue is then he explained on like a TikTok video or something that he was mad because he couldn't get into the lift, and then the person was who like nudged his way before this guy could go in was taunting him, sort of taunting him, but then quickly went into the lift closed and the lift went up. So this is another problem with Singaporeans. The why My question is, why do people who, I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you are able bodied, could you not have let the guy who's pushing his brother on a wheelchair get on the lift?
Just to me, just plain as idiotic people, I guess. Like to be honest, I think it's so stupid because like these people who first and foremost, the lifts are there for people who really need it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why it is there are signs there for handicapped people and to help people to go to other floors, right? And anyway, when the door opens, you see someone coming out of the lift, you give way, right? If not, how
Yeah.
the hell are you gonna get the lift to clear and be empty so you can bloody go in the lift,
Mm.
right? if
Right.
you if you don't move out of the way, there's going like there's go you can't enter the damn lift, right? So
Mm-hmm.
just that in itself shows how uneducated and how dumb the people who or the person who was trying to go into the lift was. I'm sorry if you hear this, you're not happy, then
Yeah.
too bad.
If you can come onto our podcast for us to
Yeah,
scold you,
yeah.
how about
I
that?
it's just common courtesy and it's just basic, right? Like it's just so funny how he didn't give way and then yet he was angry because he didn't give way, kan? Like think about it that way. Like and kudos to this Indian guy, man. Like respect him. Like maybe he explained in a after video saying
Yeah.
he explained himself. Respect to you, bro. Like you even though you blew your head off a bit at during that moment. I mean, we are all human beings. Like we all have our limits, right? But to come out with another video and explaining things, good on you, bro. And like you wasn't being, you wasn't like he wasn't scolding or he wasn't like cursing or whatever. He was, he was just explaining everything. So good on him. I
You
mean,
you imagine, I think that blow up was necessary. You
yeah,
imagine this is the one time he got mad, that it became viral. You imagine the number of times he has encountered this.
Yeah.
that's
And
what he said
then
in his video, bro. In his
now,
subsequent video, he encountered it so many times, and like, but this time it was like it just happened in this way, and he had to explain himself because people thought he was causing the trouble.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
He
that's I
the
was,
think
video.
that's why he felt that he needed to clarify, which is good
yeah,
good on him lah. But I think this
yeah,
I mean you guys know my kids are grown up, so we don't really
Mhm.
use stroller that much. But there was a point of time that we had to use the strollers, right? So
yeah,
it's a normal thing in Singapore actually. I think that's that signs of entitlement lah in a way. Like people can see you with stroller that you cannot take the escalator, right? You're not supposed to take the escalator when you are pushing a stroller, right? There are signs for that.
yeah,
Okay, in
Yeah.
case
exactly.
people are not aware, there are signs for that. So, but there's this mentality that if I reach here first, I'm first,
Mhm.
even though I don't need it, right? So if I'm
Yep.
in the lift, means I'm the first one in. You wait. So whether you need it more than me or not is a different story altogether. So
Yeah,
it's a really a culture thing. I feel like I mean to make it worse, like you taunt the other fella, that makes the whole thing worse lah, right?
yeah,
That incident the other day. So I mean I experienced it with the kids growing up a lot of times. That's why I told Maddie that with Saif being like a month old, you need the stroller a lot. You're gonna face this issue a lot. But I feel that it's a culture thing lah. So the fact that uh, people need to be told, or
Mhm.
you need it to end up in an argument in order for people to be more aware, it's a sad thing on its own,
yeah.
It
right?
shows
So
It's ridiculous.
your lack of humanity.
yeah,
It's ridiculous, guys.
it's really a culture thing, like sense of entitlement. Like people think that it's all right. Why must I give way? I came here first, what?
It's
Right? So
it's
okay,
just
to highlight a difference, right? Okay, sorry,
Mhm.
boy, you shoot first.
no. Say.
You saying okay.
No,
So to highlight a cultural difference, right? I was in Tokyo just last week.
yeah,
So I was pushing the stroller because as we know, Tokyo it involves a lot of walking. So
Mhm.
we had to bring the stroller along with us. So there was this. Uh, I was in a train station. So there was this path that only if you were pushing a stroller, only one stroller can pass through.
mm-hmm.
Either either direction, right? Reciprocal direction as well. So there was this path that there was this Japanese lady on the other side with her baby on a stroller. She was already into the path.
Mhm.
Okay, so she has the right of way anyway. So naturally, when I came to that particular opening, I stopped at the side, right? Because she was already
Yeah,
inside
in
the
the way,
path.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
in the way, yeah,
so naturally in that sense she had the right of
Right
way
of
at
way.
that
Yeah.
particular point, right? So I was just like waiting at the side and I was just smiling to her. So I think it's just like a matter of 5 meters.
Mhm.
In that 5 meters, while she was pushing, she bowed. You know, Japanese people when they are courteous to you, they will bow their head
Bow.
and
yeah,
Yeah.
say right, say arigato or say some remarks in Japanese. She bowed her head 4 times and said arigato to me. When actually she
She
already
had the.
has the right of way,
yeah.
right? But she was so
She
thankful and so courteous about the whole thing. And Then I was telling my wife not to be spiteful or anything like that, right? Spiteful against my own country or my own community or the people of Singapore. No, is coming from a place of curiosity, right? Like, okay, if I told her, if this was in Singapore, if the person was already in the path,
Yeah.
this is my path, I have the right of way, they will just move away, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And sometimes adding on to it with a snobbish
You might get a
face
dirty
look,
look.
right? You
Right.
see the difference in culture? So another day, the following day or so, I can't remember, we entered a train, spacious, right? It wasn't crowded. There were some seats here and there, but generally the seats were filled up lah. So when we entered, an old Japanese lady, she automatically stood up, uh, have my seat. Then I said, no, I only need one stop, but she can't really speak in English
English. She didn't
well.
Mm-hmm.
understand. Yeah.
Then I said, no,
Yeah.
I just showed her, I just need one stop. She said, no, no, no. Like, to her, it's like, you have kids, you sit
You need
together
it
with your
more.
kids, you need it more.
Mm.
Yeah.
And this is like someone in her 60s.
Yep.
Wow.
Can you imagine it here? So the question is, why this sense of entitlement? Where did it
Entitlement.
come from?
Yep.
Right? Like, okay, I have more than you, so I'm better than you. I came here first, so this is mine. This is not yours.
It's a lack
So
of
this, yeah,
courtesy.
I mean, these are things that I personally hate to see lah for a country that,
But
I
that's
mean,
that's
I
people
spoke
give
to
us good reviews, right?
yeah.
So these things are the things that can spoil perception,
Yep.
I,
kan?
Yep.
s-
So yeah.
I spoke to you guys about it, right? Like,
Yep.
so of late I've been having to use the stroller, and then
Yep.
Mm.
it's been a hassle. So, uh, this is my wallet. The card in here has some money, so I think one of these days I'm going to lose it, and if I punch someone and end up in jail, you guys bail me out. The second card, the second card, I give you guys the pin already, right? This how
Yeah.
ridiculous is how ridiculous it has
You
been. You know, like
yeah,
you
it's gonna
lives,
happen a lot lah. A lot.
lives, what is it like? Spaces in public transportation. It's
Yeah.
just, why do it is so ridiculous to the point that uh you need to put signages for everything. I even
Mm.
saw one of the lift. I think it was in, I think, Gem or Westgate, either one. The lift had a signage inside that had a photo of someone pushing a stroller with a kid, and it said something like, "Please give way to someone who needs it more," something like that. Why do we need to have signages for everything for you to behave like a decent human being? Like in a train, you have to have the priority seat sticker. Why? Every seat, any seat can be a
Yeah.
priority seat
Exactly.
if you have some humanity, or you are courteous enough, you understand someone needs the seat. But we in Singapore have to have a signage for everything. Please give way, please stand to the left, uh, please give up this seat for such and such and such. And the worst part is, now that there's a sticker in a train or in a bus, only the people who are sitting there feel like they need to give up the seat. The rest of the
Mm.
people suddenly become, oh, this is not a priority seat,
This is
so I don't
mine.
need to give. And
Yeah,
I,
when
I
I mean when you put labels, you remove the responsibility from other people using the space, right?
yes,
So
exactly.
yeah, which shouldn't be the case, right?
So
You
are we in a are we in a position whereby there is so many rules in Singapore that you need a specific rule to behave properly? Like,
Mm.
just say tomorrow,
mm,
if there's a new signage on a lift that says, "We will fine you if you do not give way to a disabled person, a pregnant woman, someone with a child," the lift will be empty.
Yep.
You need to be governed. You need to be governed in order for you to be a human. It shouldn't be the way. We had
sadly
that.
it is here lah. Sadly it is here. With so many things we have seen that right? You
Right.
have to like put it in black and white. Then okay, I cannot do. When it's something that is grayish, I will try. Then I will try see how far I can get with this. This is a reality, right?
You
I mean,
you
not
you
specifically here. Other countries they have
Definitely, right.
people
like
who are
like
like that as well.
like
Even
I
when you talked about Japan, when we went to Japan, I think when Kois was much younger, a crowded
Mm.
train, there might be people who
Yeah,
don't give a damn, right? But
I experienced it too the other day. It was
yeah, right.
atrocious.
So, but
so, so
in general, there are you know that if it's not like a rush hour, even in Singapore,
Mm-hmm.
even
Mm.
if it's not a rush hour, people want to use the lift.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, I get it. And what our infrastructure is so great that escalator is just nearby, right? I do not get it. Why do you feel that you need to? I'm not saying it's wrong to use a lift, no, but look around you.
Yeah,
Are there
man. Look at
people?
your surrounding.
Are there
Look at who
people
is
there?
there waiting
So
for the lift as well.
you can use you can utilize the lift, but if you see, just
Yeah,
give
look.
way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
And
Like I
you
Even
think
if
think that it's taking so long, like, hey, there's like four strollers, four prams here, or hey, there's two wheelchairs here. Never mind lah. Just take the escalator. That should be
the
yeah.
the
way,
natural
Reaction.
way to natural way to think,
Yeah,
right?
that's your
But
yeah, that's right.
sadly no. Is
Yeah.
that's why I say it's really in the culture. I mean, uh, thank God. Generally, I can safely say like 60% of us, 70% of us are, from what I've experienced, generally okay, all right.
yeah,
But of
Yeah.
course, that if you keep coming across the 20 or 30%, imagine you are that unlucky, right? You keep
Yeah.
coming across like every scenario, like you come across this small group, then you will feel like, my word, do we have to get into an unnecessary argument just to
Yeah.
sort something that is basic humanity?
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But what
But
you say is right.
sadly, yeah,
Mm-mm.
sadly it's like that lah.
No, but what you say is right. 60-70% are okay, but also because
Yes.
we are not we don't use a wheelchair every day, so we might never know how often these
Yeah,
these
yeah,
people go through this problem, right? Like I think Matt gave a good campaign. You just sold a very good campaign to SBS, SMRT. Every seat is a priority seat, bro. That is
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
amazing. I tell you, if tomorrow SBS or SMRT or the government start using this, we're gonna charge them. No, we said this first.
They can
You know,
sponsor our podcast.
but
That
okay,
Instead
that
of
jokes.
should that
Joke,
should
Hokkaido milk
be
toast,
the new tagline, right?
right?
Every
every
seat
So
seat.
so
is
joke
a priority seat.
jokes aside, I truly feel that it's very sad because like, look at this our Indian friend here who has a wheelchair bound brother, right? Can you
Mm-hmm.
imagine? He pushes him around every day, and every day he has to go through this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's
Mm.
sickening, it's so painful. Like my grandmother is wheelchair bound, right? No,
Mm-hmm.
okay, she
Mm,
she she is
mm.
not wheelchair bound at home, but when we go out, we have to push her on a wheelchair,
She
right?
needs it. Okay.
And she needs it, right? And I think first, before I tell you this story, I hope you might
Mm-hmm.
and also my dad. I pray that you guys have the patience in the world, because I don't want to bail any of you out. Because like
Bro, the got one more cut. You if your
Yeah.
father if your father kena,
need
then you.
Actually
but
touching on to add on earlier also, like
yeah,
what you mentioned is right. Like I realized that, having said all that, right, earlier, like 60-70% are okay. I realized that because early into using the strollers, I totally ditched the idea of taking the lift.
yeah,
So
Mm-hmm.
we take escalators,
escalators, yeah,
even though it is a risk on our part.
yeah,
So we
We
took escalators because we know that, okay, the lifts are not going to be there, especially
yeah,
like during the weekends and stuff, right? So we
yeah,
totally ditched the idea. I think I ever come across like the like security officer of the mall or something, like saying that uh you should use a there's no escalators supposed to be sorry, there's no
no
strollers
strollers
supposed to
on the
be
on the
escalators.
escalator,
on the
yeah,
escalator. Then I just told him, then you should check out your lifts,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
right? I need to get up. You should check out your lifts. If you
Yeah.
want to do that there, then you go and do a crowd control of some sort
Mm-hmm.
at your elevator station, which you would not want to do, right? So okay,
Yeah.
right? This is the risk that I'm taking. Of course, having said that, I'm not putting kids at risk or anything,
Yeah,
or not
it's control.
encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's like
even
done with precision.
even I did that the other day. But like we can do that on a stroller. Like Heikel, for
Yeah,
an
yeah,
example,
correct.
someone like his
On
grandma on a
wheelchair, yeah,
wheelchair.
correct.
There is no
Yeah.
way for you to use the
Mm,
escalator even by
Can't.
cheap,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. So like my dad faces this a lot, but whenever I'm back in
Mm-hmm.
Singapore, or when I was back in Singapore, I was pushing my grandmother. I just couldn't understand how people can see. They see, right? They see the
And buat
situation
bodoh, eh? Buat
and
bodoh.
they walk bodoh, right? They don't care,
Yeah,
right? And like and then when you accidentally bump into them, we are supposed to say sorry because
yeah, yeah.
we hit them when they are in the way, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I really, I hope you and my dad might have the most patient, a lot of
And
patience.
you
I
know your
pray.
dad.
Oh my
You
god!
know me. There
I
is
te-
not much
I
patience
tell
there.
you, in saying that, I also wish the person who is on the receiving end of, if my dad shouts at you, I wish you all the best and good luck to you.
Oh man,
You know,
if your dad spazzes on somebody,
yeah. So
it's
Mm.
like
gonna be bad.
he probably won't touch you, but if he's gonna open his mouth, you are gonna get it. I wish you all the best and good luck
But
to you. Hope you don't have nightmares. So
think about it. If your dad tells somebody off in that
yeah,
situation, it's rightly so, right? But then it
Ex-
becomes like we are the bad
we
people because
You
exactly,
are the you become the problem, right? You
yeah.
become
exactly.
the problem.
That is the weird thing to me, right? Going back to our Indian friend, it's so sad that people took a video of him, and like when people know the
Having that
situation,
moment.
like it's just
Yeah.
very shitty. It's just very sad. I'm so sorry for him. I'm sorry. I'm just so sad that happened to him, and he's facing this every day, almost
Yeah.
every day. Is
But
it's
on a
just not nice.
positive light to all that happened, that if someone was taking the video, it sheds light on how
The
bad
real problem is yeah.
we have been as a
Mm.
community. We need to start
Let's do
taking
better,
more
guys.
consideration
Yeah,
to people who are in need.
yeah.
we we we, we take these things for granted now. Imagine when you are older and if you happen to be wheelchair bound,
Mm.
what what would you feel when no one gives you the right of way
Exactly,
on a
man.
lift in a crowded mall? How many lifts you might have to miss? You cannot get to places because people just decide to be dumbasses. It all ties up into one single thing. Like Hafiz
Yeah,
mentioned, a lot of this is upbringing. Teach your kids the right thing. Not just your kids, just teach kids in general the right thing. These because these are not problem of the non-educated.
yeah.
The people who
Yeah.
are not giving way in the lifts are not like
This
they
has
never
got to
went to
do with your
school.
heart, man. Your compassion,
Yes.
man. Like,
Yeah,
as a
exactly.
person, like,
You
At
as
the
a person.
yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to be nice, guys.
Yeah,
That's it.
man.
Yeah.
It
Let's do
goes a long way. If you
let's
were
do
to be
better,
nice to a
guys.
stranger, I mean, personally, I feel good every time I'm nice to a stranger. Like for just
Yeah.
the small thing, right? But it's contagious. You have to
Yeah.
believe that it is something contagious. You do nice for someone at this moment, that person might do something nice, or
Maybe
that person might not be so uh kind-hearted of a person, but he
yeah.
realized like, hey, someone treat me nicely
Mm-hmm.
when he doesn't have to. Then from there, maybe he will like, oh, I should treat someone better as well. So you have
May-
to believe that. This is not like a
Maybe
campaign that I'm like, but
yeah,
Yeah.
betul. But maybe that's
yeah.
why we that's okay. Personally for me, maybe that's why I like or I love going to Japan, because when you see all these things happening, it's so heartwarming, and like it
Yes,
leaves an
yes,
impression, and
exactly.
you like you you like you
The,
feel for people, like. And when you don't see
mm,
it in your own country, you're like, hey,
it's
why
sad.
are my
It's really
people like
sad, right?
that, man? Like, so it's I don't
And
know, man. I
whatever
think
you said about it being contagious, it's the right thing to do
yeah,
because your kids are looking at you
Yes, correct.
doing the right
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
and when in turn when it's their time, they're gonna do the right thing as well.
yeah.
yeah.
I
So
think
at the
I
end
mean,
of the
we
day,
hope
we
the
hope,
best
we
for our
hope,
kids,
we
right?
hope,
Yeah.
we hope, we hope. Yes,
but we can hope. But one thing we should not hope is to do the right thing. You don't have to hope to
Yeah,
do the
correct.
right thing.
You have to set
yeah,
the tone.
man.
We set that
Yeah,
it is not the hardest thing to be nice. It's
Yeah.
harder. It's harder to be. There's a lot of campaign phrases. Somebody better tie us up. Yeah, it is harder.
Yep.
It's easier to be a dumbass, but it's much easier to be nicer. Like
Yeah.
imagine all the hassle of being angry with somebody, or I don't want to let you use the lift. Wouldn't it have been so much easier if you just stepped out of the lift, let somebody else go in, and then
And
that's
you
it.
feel good when you do
yeah,
that, you know? Like people should try that. You actually
Maybe
feel
people
good.
don't feel good, bro. You know,
Yeah,
hati
maybe
maybe
people
hati
don't.
hati dah busuk.
Hati suah
uh,
busuk, hati suah batu mah,
okay,
hati
this
suah keras mah,
is a whole
otak suah
new
tak ada fikir mah.
topic, right? It's a matter at the end of the day, it's a matter of the heart, right?
Yeah,
We are
man.
not
Like, oh,
preaching.
man.
We're not preaching to you that you should follow our example, or like I'm not saying that
We
I'm a nice guy.
mm,
I have my flaws as well, but these are the things that are so basic that I'm just saying that if I get a chance to help a stranger or give way to a stranger to make their day, it makes me feel so good. This is what
Mhm.
I'm saying, right? I'm not the
Yeah.
best of people. I will say that to you. I have a lot of flaws, but these are the small things, right? It goes a long way
yeah,
for people, especially people of need,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So to the guy that encountered that situation with the brother, I wish you the best in life. I'm
yeah,
You're
man.
not gonna listen to this, but I wish you guys the best in life. You have to have a lot of patience, like in a country like this. It's a cultural thing, so guys, remember, it doesn't hurt to be nice.
Mhm.
Goes a long way, right?
At the end of the day, we are all human beings, right? We are not perfect.
Yeah,
So like, I feel I feel the same thing, right? Even in Australia, that people are also like that, right? It's not only in
Mhm.
Singapore.
yeah. It's
I
everywhere.
say,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
everywhere, lah.
it's almost everywhere, But like, I think everyone can do better. I think as humans,
Mhm.
we can do better. We have so many uh, examples to learn from. I think
Mm.
nowadays no one can say like, oh, I never learned this or I never learned that. You should definitely hear from some, you hear
Uh,
something from somewhere. So
It's nothing
just
to learn, so lah, to be nice, right?
yeah, yeah,
To
I mean,
learn to be nice. That would be weird.
how you gonna learn it? Like what do we bring back the charity elephant? Do we bring back the charity elephant so
lama
that
sia tu.
people will wake the fuck up?
Bro, no,
Bring back.
no,
That
no, no animal can help lah nowadays. You tell
Should
me.
we
if you
just bring back Ultraman?
bro, how Ultraman also will not be able to survive
Captain Planet,
Singaporeans?
Captain Planet.
Ultraman, when they see this situation, the lampu dia blinking loh. Dada dia.
Terus
Itu
mati.
kirakan
Better.
that's it tau. Suara abak. Semua game
Captain
tu.
Planet. Captain Planet, tapi
Was Captain
Singapore
Planet
generally okay lah, Captain Planet. In terms of Captain Planet lah. Toxic Crusader?
Toxic
Toxic.
Crusader?
Toxic. Bro,
On
I
a
can
side
guarantee
note,
you.
I think Captain Planet was such an underrated cartoon because it
Yes,
taught
yes.
you something. It taught you to protect and take care of the
Save the
earth,
earth.
save the
Save the
earth.
planet, man.
Yeah. It taught some
Maybe
people to dye
Kill the
their hair
world.
green as well, right?
but
Yeah.
but Captain Planet had the sickest toys. Remember you could pour water on the Captain Planet and then its color changes?
Oh my god.
Do you guys have it?
Yeah, aku
So it was like
cannot
it
recall.
was showing like if you pour this water on him, then it's like a negative effect to the earth. So his body
Change
changes
color.
into like a color. What they were so far ahead of the
Ahead,
time that we
ahead of
need
time.
to we need to bring back these guys. to
Yeah,
do
man.
some positive content for these
Hey,
dumbasses that we keep
but
coming
also like
across.
you see like in football also, right? Like kick racism out of football. Maybe we should change that. Kick racism out of life.
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, yeah.
In general,
And
because
and
it's so
and be courteous and be courteous. Have courtesy, have compassion. Like
every seat is a priority seat. So
every
That's the
seat.
tagline lah.
Hey, that
That
one,
should be
that one,
tourism,
the
bro.
that should be
I
the
tourism
feel
board,
strongly. I feel strongly about that one, bro.
that should be
right?
the title of the
Every
episode.
seat should be a priority seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But just one last thing before we get off this, right? The one thing that am okay with is, handicap toilets, right? At
Mm,
times,
mm.
the toilet, people need to understand at times when Singapore shopping center toilets are always, somebody's always washing the damn toilet. So sometimes I hope people understand that when you have a stomach ache or when you have to really pee, if the toilet is closed, if the next one it's a handicap toilet, and if you see nobody using, it's okay to quickly just use and get out of the place. Like
Mm.
people, just because it comes again, it's a label,
Taboo
it's
ah.
then suddenly Singaporeans become woke. Oh, why are you using the handicap toilet? It's meant for
Mm.
handicapped people. But you dumbasses do not see the rest of the thing. But when somebody comes out, he's doing some hanky panky stuff. People might need the toilet. If you can't shit
Yeah.
in your pants, and the only available toilet is the handicap toilet, you have to use it, right? But of course, with
Mm.
that being said, have consideration if there
Yeah,
are
man.
really people
Quickly,
about to use
yeah.
it.
Quickly
But
use
it
it and
comes
just
back to what
chow, man.
again? Consideration. Pakai
Yeah.
otak. Use your brain.
Exactly.
That being
Yeah.
Exactly.
said, we just hope for Singapore to be a better place. The worldwide listeners, just because we speak a certain way about Singapore,
Please
do
come
not
to Singapore.
please continue to visit Singapore. There are
uh,
nice things.
tourism
Yep.
board. You heard our episode today. You know what to do.
Yeah,
Please
you know,
sponsor us. I mean,
my Singapore STB, Singapore
Don't
Tourism
think we
Board.
said that much good that tourism board is going to pick it up, right?
no,
The zoo,
they
They
should take
I spoke for the zoo.
they should take this and turn it into positives, bro. Do
You
better,
see, it
right?
all ties up. Zoo, and then people behaving like fucking animals. Use some brains. People should use
Yeah,
their
yeah,
brain.
yeah,
You,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
with,
man. Come
with
on.
that being said, we've come to the end of this episode
Yes.
of the Odd Set. If you have not followed us on our social media, is at the dot
Dot
set.
set.
You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, on YouTube. You can search the Odd Set TOS, and then you can watch all our episodes.
Yeah, watch and listen, guys. All right. So in saying that, we are the odd set. I'm Haikal.
Maddie,
Remember, guys, it doesn't hurt to be nice, right?
yes
It it,
sir.
it 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 will come back to you,
Exactly.
and
What
every
Exactly.
seat
is
is
a
a priority
priority
seat.
seat?
SMRT, SBS. Okay,
Take note.
we said it first.
Holla at your boy.
We
We
said
said
it
it.
first.
We said it first.
Hafiz.
All right, guys. Take care.
Peace.
Bye.
Peace.